Assalamu alaikum class. Today's lecture is about vertical and horizontal programs in Pakistan. The learning objectives of today's lecture are the basic concepts of vertical and horizontal programs and various programs related to health like EPI, tuberculosis, malaria control programs. These programs will be discussed under the subheadings of background, their goals and objectives, their strategies or activities, their funding agencies, and their impact. A program is an ongoing activity which is carried out to achieve some objectives according to their specifications. There are two types of health programs: vertical health programs and horizontal health programs. Vertical health programs are focused on one activity. Their staff is also concerned to that particular activities. Examples of vertical health programs are malaria control program or tuberculosis control program. Horizontal health programs are those programs which cover at least two dimensions of health. Example is social action program, in which health, education, sanitation, water supply and family planning was focused. As I discussed in the previous slide, horizontal health programs address a range of health problems. These programs are community-owned programs and require community participation. They have more focus on preventive aspect with curative care component. They are usually cost effective and are sustainable. These programs are specific for one health problems. Some of them are very effective. In these programs, outside planners or donors decide what is best for the community. The element of community participation is not there usually, and usually they are not sustainable as well because they depend upon foreign funding. Social Action Program, which was carried out from 1992 to 1998, is an example of horizontal health program. It focused on 5 areas: primary and middle education, primary and preventive health care, nutrition, rural health supply, sanitation, and family planning. And it was funded by Government of Pakistan and World Bank. Um, During this tenure, many BHUs and RHCs were built, and upgradation of existing BHUs, basic health units, and rural health center was carried out, and training of traditional birth attendant um, was also carried out, and water supply and sanitation was improved, especially in rural areas, and moreover, many schools were upgraded, especially primary and middle schools, mm, and there was focus on increasing contraceptive prevalence rate. Social Action Program actually was a continuation of Social Action Program 1, and the tenure of this program was between 1999 to 2004. Uh, it has more focus on improving the quality of basic services and increasing community involvement, establishment of strong monitoring mechanism, and promoting private sector. Expanded Program on Immunization, briefly called as EPI, is an important vertical health program of Pakistan, and it provides protection against 10 vaccine preventable diseases. EPI was launched in 1978. Previously, it covered 6 diseases, but with the passage of time, new vaccines have been added in it, and now it aims to protect against 10 vaccine preventable diseases, which include tuberculosis, polio, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B, rotavirus, pneumococcal, H. influenza type B, and measles. Ministry of Health provides support to this program, and federal government is responsible for the provision of vaccines, syringes, maintenance of cold chain, transport, printed material, health education, and motivation campaigns. The major activities of EPI is to carry out vaccination of children under 2 years of age and pregnant women against tetanus. It provides protection to 7 million children and 7 million pregnant women. District is the basic fundamental unit to implement the program. Vaccination is done at static fixed center and also by outreach mobile teams. The objectives of the program include to increase equitable coverage of immunization services against vaccine preventable diseases and to reduce mortality and morbidity which are associated with these preventable diseases. And the last objective is to improve immunization services through expansion of service delivery and by maintaining a good cold chain. Here is the schedule of EPI vaccination. At time of birth, BCG vaccination is given and oral polio vaccine 0 dose is given. At the age of 6 weeks, oral polio vaccine dose 1, pentavalent vaccine 1, which includes diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, H. influenza type B, and hepatitis vaccines, is given, and moreover, pneumococcal 1 and rotavirus 1 vaccines are also given at the age of 6 weeks. At the age of 10 weeks, OPV2, pentavalent 2, pneumococcal 2, and rotavirus vaccine 2 are given. At the age of 14 weeks, OPV3, injectable polio vaccine, pentavalent vaccine 3, pneumococcal vaccine dose 3 is given. At the age of 9 months, vaccination against measles is done and the first dose of measles vaccine is given. At the age of 15 months, second dose of measles vaccine is given. After its launch till now, program significantly progressed in many areas. The percentage of fully immunized children has increased markedly and now it is 66% according to the last Pakistan Demographic Health Survey. Program now has sufficient manpower, a good surveillance system, a good cold chain system, and it has developed evaluation strategies, regular monitoring system, and field supervisory mechanisms as well. In EPI program, at national levels, policies and strategies are made, and at national level, technical guidance, monitoring, evaluation, and reporting is carried out. At district level, the activities include collection and distribution of the vaccines and supervision of EPI service delivery, repair and maintenance of equipment or vehicles, and training of EPI workers and management of the human resource. Funding of this program is by Government of Pakistan mainly and some international agencies like Gavi, GICA, MRI, WHO and UNICEF provide technical assistance and USAID is involved in vaccine inventory. The program faces some challenges. First of all, the provision of equitable coverage of immunization and some gaps exist in demand creation which has to be bridged. Quality of data is not up to the mark. Moreover, vaccine preventable disease surveillance and reporting system regarding adverse event following immunization is still not up to the mark and need to be strengthened. Lastly, vaccine consumption and utilization data should be more proper and more timely. Another important vertical program is malaria control program. The program has also been involved in dengue prevention and control activities. Malaria is the second most prevalent communicable disease in the country. It has a high prevalence. About 60% population is at high risk for malaria. This program was started in 1950, and in 1961 this program was converted into Malaria Eradication Program, and WHO, UNICEF and USAID support this program by financial and technical support. The goal of Malaria Control Program is to reduce malaria burden by 75% in high and moderate endemic districts and eliminate malaria in low endemic districts of Pakistan by the year 2020. The objective of Malaria Control Program include to achieve less than 5 annual parasite index in high endemic areas of provinces of Balochistan, Sindh, KP and FATA, and to achieve less than 1% annual parasite index within the moderate endemic districts of Balochistan, Sindh, KP and Punjab, and to achieve zero annual parasite index within low endemic districts of Sindh, KP and Punjab, and this is to be done by the year 2020. The national strategies for rolling back malaria is based upon these key elements. First of all, emphasis is given for early diagnosis and prompt treatment. Multiple prevention measures should be adopted, which include promotion of the insecticide-treated mosquito nets, residual insecticide spraying, and environmental vector control. Public must be educated and activities with appropriate information, education, communication material must be carried out. There should be improved detection and response to epidemics if it occur, and public-private partnership must be strengthened. The strategies to control malaria include provision of rapid diagnostic test kits to those health facilities where malaria microscopy services are not possible, and the provision of radical treatment to all the confirmed cases of malaria. And as you know, we have a high burden of confirmed cases of malaria in Pakistan. Moreover, training on integrated vector control measures and spray operation should also be carried out, and training of master trainers on malaria microscopy technique are the part of malaria control program strategies to improve the output of the program. The main source of funding is the Global Fund and to some extent World Health Organization. The program faces some major challenges. Parasites and vectors have developed resistance to drug and insecticides, and there is low coverage of diagnosis, treatment, and prevention services. TB control program is another vertical program in Pakistan. Unfortunately, Pakistan is the fifth among the countries of the world which have the highest burden of the disease. Prevalence of TB in Pakistan is also very high, and it is up to 348 per 100,000 population per year. Annual mortality is as high as 34 per 100,000 population. Estimated number of new cases is 5-10,000 each year. Tuberculosis was declared as national emergency in Pakistan in 2001. It was followed by revival of National Tuberculosis Control Program. Currently, this program is working with the National Institute of Health, and it is supported by Global Fund grant. The goal of TB control program is 50% reduction in the prevalence of tuberculosis in the general population by 2025. There are three objectives of National TB Control Program. The first objective is to increase the number of notified tuberculosis cases to at least 420,000 by the year 2020, and the treatment success rate is to be maintained at 91%. The other objective is to reduce by 5% the prevalence of multiple drug resistant tuberculosis among those tuberculosis patients who have never received any tuberculosis treatment. And another objective is to strengthen the management capacity of TB control program while enhancing public sector support for the TB control by 2020. The National TB Control Program developed the uniform policies and strategies, and it has developed a national strategic plan for the year 2017 to 2020, and it facilitated the donor liaison at national and international level. Furthermore, it is involved in the Global Fund grant management. This program is facing some challenges. First of all, this program is not able to catch a significant portion of all tuberculosis cases. And as you know, there is a high burden of multiple drug resistant and extensively drug resistant tuberculosis cases. And for these reasons, we have a large number of uncontrolled adult tuberculosis patients. And further, we have a very low percentage of GDP which is being spent on health, including tuberculosis. Another important vertical program is the National Program for Family Planning and Primary Health Care, mainly known as LHW program. Ministry of Health has initiated a comprehensive primary healthcare program in 1994 and accepting the challenge to bring about positive and visible change in the health status of the country. The program was to extend the outreach services to communities through selection and training of lady health workers. Today, 96,000 lady health workers are rendering valuable services to elevate the health standards of people with untiring dedication and compassion. Moving forward day by day, now the program has got the status of being the largest community-based program of Pakistan. The major objective of this program include to provide preventive, curative and rehabilitative services to community with high effective access and to bring about community participation by creating awareness, bringing change attitudes, organization and mobilization of support, and to improve the utilization of health facilities by bridging the gap between the community and the health services, and to gradually integrate the existing healthcare delivery programs within the national program. The lady health workers are the agents of health. They are the women of the respective locality which are trained as LHWs, and their target is to improve the health status of the people. They have got the necessary trainings and they visit the people at their homes and take care of their health. LHWs are acting as an agent of change in improving national health indicators. One LHS or Lady Health Supervisor is deputed to supervise about 20 to 25 LHWs of an area. Here I share some of the major responsibilities of LHW. LHW acts as a liaison between the formal health system and the community. She disseminates health message to the community on hygiene, sanitation, and mother and child health. She registers all the married women of reproductive age group of their area for motivation and counseling of family planning. and she provides contraceptive material to the client and essential drugs for the treatment of minor illnesses like diarrhea, malaria, acute respiratory infection, and intestinal worm. She coordinates with the EPI program to improve vaccination status of women and children. During EPI campaigns, she motivates mothers to get their children vaccinated. The main job of LHW is to organize the community by developing women groups and health committees in their areas. The LHWs discuss with the community issues which are related to health, hygiene, nutrition, sanitation, and family planning. And all these has the relevance towards improved quality of life. Basically, LHWs are the health agent which are working for improving the quality of life of the community. About 90% resources are provided by Government of Pakistan. In addition, some international agencies like UNICEF, UNFPA, World Health Organization, DFID, and GICA are providing 10% financial assistance in the form of contraceptives. Although most of the health indicators in the population which are covered by LHWs are significantly better as compared to non-LHW covered areas, but there are some weaknesses of the program. First of all, at some level, especially at the lower level, there are problems of poor management and integration. Uh, there is a problem in salary payment to LHWs. Sometimes the supply chain is weak and equipment provision is delayed. Uh, at some level, there is some weaknesses in the referral system, poor supervision and linkages with peripheral health facilities. Sometimes we face this problem, and quality of care in some parts is questionable, and there is a less impact in areas like sanitation and breastfeeding. These areas need improvement. Government of Punjab, after devolution, has taken a number of new initiatives, the most important one being the integration of four programs into the Integrated Reproductive, Maternal, Newborn, Child Health and Nutrition Program. These four programs include National Program for Family Planning and Primary Health Care, National Maternal Neonatal Child Health Program, National Nutrition Program, and 24 by 7 basic health units. These all have been integrated in IRMNCH and nutrition program. IRMNCH and nutrition program aim to reduce maternal, newborn, and child morbidity and mortality, and to promote family planning services and to improve nutritional status of women and children. This initiative was proposed to address malnutrition and aim to increase accessibility of MNCH services by provision of 24 by 7 service delivery at selected basic health unit, all rural health center, Tehsil headquarter hospital and district headquarter hospital. The program objectives are in accordance to Target 3.1 and Target 3.2 of Sustainable Development Goal. As you know, Pakistan is the signatory of Sustainable Development Goals. These objectives include reduction in maternal mortality ratio, reduction in under 5 mortality, infant and neonatal mortality rates, reduction in stunting and wasting among children, and increase in skilled birth attendant to reduce the maternal mortality. Specific objectives which were set at the initiation of program include increasing the contraceptive prevalence rate for modern method from 23% to 35% and increasing skilled birth attendance from 59 to 80%, increasing institutional deliveries It means deliveries conducted at health centers from 53% to 70%, and increasing coverage of complete immunization against vaccine preventable diseases from 35% to 70%, and increasing the percentage of children who are suffering from diarrhea and are treated with ORS and zinc up to 40%, increase in the proportion of severe malnourished children who are successfully treated up to 75%. Continuation to the previous slide. Other objectives include increasing percentage of early initiation of breastfeeding from 15% to 40%, increasing the percentage of exclusive breastfeeding up to 35%, increase percentage of utilization of adequately iodized salt at household level to 50%, increase in the distribution of iron and folate tablets among pregnant women up to 50%, increase in the proportion of children less than 2 years of age fed in accordance with all three infant young child feeding practices. These practices include food diversity, food frequency, and consumption of breast milk up to 40%. All districts should be implemented MNCH. Now I share some achievement of IRMNCH and nutrition program with you. Program has started the provision of services by community midwife. This new cadre has been introduced in this program. Community midwives are providing their services as household level for obstetrics, newborn care, and family planning. Online Android app and MI system has been established. Antenatal care, postnatal care, safe delivery services, and most important, the rural ambulance service has been started. Treatment of malnourished children was done, and screening referral system were improved, and LHWs are working for growth monitoring, deworming, pneumonia and diarrhea prevention under the umbrella of this program. This program is working to strengthen the integration of quality reproductive, maternal, newborn, child health, and nutritional services, and it provides linkages of community based health services with health facilities. It is working for basic and comprehensive emergency obstetric and newborn care. The important feature of this program include nutritional services, micronutrient supplementation, and fortified food. Family planning services are being provided by lady health workers and community midwives. This program has introduced a concept of 1000 days plus model, which is based upon women focused approach. Uh, this program involves local community as well. The other features include e-monitoring and e-reporting system and focus on the increased demand for prevention and primary healthcare services. This is the pictorial presentation of 1000 days plus model, which is focused on women and child health. The components during antenatal period include iron and folic acid supplementation, nutritional counseling during antenatal period, and antenatal checkup. After delivery, the other components include early initiation of breastfeeding, vaccination of the child, birth spacing, use of vitamin and minerals when required, timely weaning practices, and focus on health and sanitation. In addition to program monitoring and supervisory system, the program is evaluated by independent program evaluations and national and provincial surveys like PDHS. National AIDS Control Program of Pakistan is another vertical program which is currently being operated. National AIDS Control Program was established in 1986 to 1987. Country has moved from low prevalence to concentrated epidemic among intravenous drug users. HIV prevalence rate is still less than 1%, but on 25th April 2019, uh, Larkana district was alerted by media reports about a surge in the human immunodeficiency virus cases among children in Larkana district. During the screening, several risk factors were identified, including unsafe injections during medical procedure, unsafe child delivery practices, unsafe practices at blood banks, poorly implemented infection control programs, improper collection, storage, segregation, and disposal of hospital waste. This program is technically supported by UN agencies and Global Fund against AIDS, TB, and malaria. National AIDS Control Program is playing a vital role for the prevention, treatment, and advocacy of HIV or AIDS epidemic in Pakistan. Every person living with HIV has access to quality care and is treated with dignity is the main focus of this program. The key objectives of program include prevention of HIV transmission by adopting safe practices, safe blood transfusion, reduction of sexually transmitted disease transmission other than the HIV, establishment of surveillance to find out the new cases of HIV positive patients, training of healthcare staff, research and behavioral studies, capacity building of various stakeholders, development of program management. About 80% of all expenses on HIV and AIDS has been financed by the government of Pakistan. Here are some achievement of the program. 0.19 million people were estimated to have HIV. 44,758 people were registered and about 24,362 people are on treatment with ARV therapy. 6,765 people who inject drug and are on ARV therapy. The main components of the program include medical care, lab and diagnostic services, provision of pharmaceutical medicine, and nutritional counseling to improve the nutritional status of HIV positive patient. Another vertical program is Pakistan National Hepatitis Control Program. All five types of hepatitis virus from A to E are prevalent in the country, but the overall social and economic impact of chronic hepatitis B and C are devastating. The estimated prevalence of hepatitis B and C is 3 to 4% and 5 to 7%. Thousands of new patients are added every year due to lack of prevention, lack of testing and treatment resources, as well as inadequately screened blood transfusion, improperly sterilized invasive medical instruments, and unsafe injections. The program was launched in 2005 and the overall goal of project is to reduce morbidity and mortality due to hepatitis B and C. The key objective of the program include to increase coverage of hepatitis B immunization services, especially to the targets population groups and in high endemic areas, and to improve hospital waste management system, infection control, and injection safety practices in public sector hospitals and other health facilities. and to improve access to quality diagnostic services and effective hepatitis B C cases management in the public sector hospitals and other health facilities, and finally, to strengthen the existing infrastructure and support system for efficient and effective implementation of the prevention program. The program aimed to decrease 50% new cases of hepatitis B and C through advocacy and behavior change communication, and it aimed to provide vaccination to high risk group and establishment of screening centers, provision of diagnostic and treatment facilities in 150 teaching and district headquarter hospitals, and focus on safe blood transfusion and prevention of hepatitis A and E are the important points of this program. Restoration of sight and blindness prevention strategies are among the most cost effective interventions in healthcare. National Program for Prevention and Control of Blindness was launched by the Federal Ministry of Health in 2005. The program is in line with the Vision 2020, the global initiative of World Health Organization for elimination of preventable causes of blindness by the year 2020. The overall goal of program is prevention and control of avoidable blindness. The key targets of this program were establishment of 7 centers of excellence in ophthalmology and strengthening and upgradation of 20 tertiary teaching hospital eye departments and strengthening and upgradation of 63 district eye units of district headquarter hospital, strengthening and upgradation of 147 Tehsil eye units of Tehsil headquarter hospital, and training of 50,000 primary healthcare workers in primary eye care. Here I share with you some successes and challenges. According to a report, Pakistan stands at the 12th spot in the global ranking for cataract surgical rate. And this report has been declared a landmark achievement for Pakistan in meeting the targets set by World Health Organization. But some challenges do exist. These challenges include comprehensive eye care to the underserved population, development of sustainable infrastructure, and strengthening of human resources while keeping abreast with latest technological advancement. After devolution, provision of healthcare is the responsibility of provinces, and primary and secondary healthcare department of Government of Punjab has launched prevention and control of non-communicable diseases in 2016. Target 3.4 of Sustainable Development Goal says by 2030 reduce by one-third premature mortality from non-communicable diseases. And this program aimed to reduce burden of morbidity and premature mortality related to non-communicable diseases. The main objectives include to prevent non-communicable diseases by risk factor modification through health promotion and multi-sectoral action following a life course approach, and to provide access to the population for non-communicable diseases care through early detection and management by strengthening the existing health systems, and to assess and monitor non-communicable diseases and risk factor situation in Punjab through research, monitoring and evaluation. Achievements of program include capacity building of district healthcare staff, screening of more than 2.9 million people for non-communicable diseases. The program has established non-communicable disease service delivery points at secondary level hospital, where patient registration, management, and follow-up is done. Health promotion activities are carried out through health communication and health education, and program has developed the risk factor assessment questionnaire as well. This was the brief overview of some horizontal and vertical programs in Pakistan. If you have some question, you can ask. My lecture ends here. Thank you very much.